taking a look at the Silly Ducks Revolution.
Yep, and looking at their tank setup here, they do opt for that one piece of artillery. Probably, actually, it is the most accurate piece of artillery out there, the Object 261.
61, of course, a very popular Tier 8 piece of SPG, of course, in the game. And yeah, just for clarification, the Silly Ducks Revolution starting on the western side, whereas their opponents from You Are Done starting to the east. And actually, surprisingly enough, You Are Done deciding not to go with SPG.
Yep, that is correct. I feel like they might go for a more slow push because they aren't opting for that mobility. They have 3 heavy tanks, 1 medium, and the rest are just light. So they might just sit back and camp. We'll have to see what exactly their strategy is. On the opposing side, the Silly Ducks will actually look to try and kind of push towards that airfield.
Yes, so we're gonna have to wait and see. Well, essentially the only difference between these two is that, well, basically You Are Done decided to trade that piece of artillery, heavy artillery, for an extra T-32.
Yep.
Heavy, so that's the main difference here. And yeah, taking a look at player Opelisk here and his Object 261. So he's trying to, of course, position himself.
Yep.
Getting sneak shots out there, but of course, because they the Silly Ducks Revolution do have that Object 261, of course, You Are Done can't just like rush it in, because otherwise they just get blown to bits.
Yep, exactly. So they have to use those ridges and those rocks to their advantage. They have to slowly push and not open themselves up for that artillery attack.
So far, a pretty standard defensive position here by the Silly Ducks Revolution. Of course, because they have the piece of artillery, they can actually wait for their opponents to come. And let us not forget, they also took out their opponents in set number 1, so they do have the advantage. And here we can actually see Lord Ketchup, the T1. Demolishing like pretty much the obstacles in a way, just in case like an enemy decides to go through that village. Basically, he won't have any cover from the artillery.
Oh,
and brilliant
nice
shot here, that Object 261 drawing first blood and taking out a Tier 8 AMX-13. So a non-negligible lead here for the Silly Ducks Revolution.
Yeah, great shot coming up from the Object 261, taking out that first piece of or that first tank, excuse me, on the You Are Done team.
Well, Reach Stars, who was taken out well, basically in this set, and well, that's 1 AMX-13 down for You Are Done. So right now, let us assume we go to full distance here, and 7 minutes remaining. Well, the Silly Ducks Revolution would still win this round, because as of right now, they do have exactly an 8-tier point advantage.
Yep, exactly. So even if they just kind of camp in their positions, they will still plot the victory if it does go the distance. But it looks like these tanks are slowly starting to push out towards that middle area of the map.
I'm actually kind of surprised that You Are Done decided not to go with an SPG here. Yeah. Usually if you see one side picking up an SPG, usually you kind of mirror that tank selection. On this map, at least, usually, because otherwise you're just going to leave yourself kind of vulnerable. And if you want to go, if you want to counter that piece of artillery by not picking one yourself, then perhaps going for faster tanks.
Yeah.
I would assume that, you know, you'd go for an extra T69 or an extra AMX-13 rather than opting for the slower, heavier models. So I'm actually kind of surprised at You Are Done's tank selection, because they're trying to move out to towards up north, towards that ridge, and towards the airfield. At the same time, they're sending scouts down south, pretty much, towards the water.
Oh, and a couple tanks being spotted here up in this northern area of the airfield. Actually, yeah, and another nice shot coming out from the Object 261, taking out another Tier 8
exactly,
heavy
they're
tank,
sending ducks actually, because those heavy tanks don't have movement. Once they're spotted, like it's just a piece of cake for the Object 261 to actually pick them up one after the other. And look at that, another one taken out.
Yeah, it's looking really grim for the Ducks right here.
Oh, that's just another statement. They're getting demolished out there.
Yeah, they're just getting taken out one by one.
Shot here, brilliantly done. As a matter of fact, player Tomoti, like and his AMX-13 taking out the 2 heavy tanks with his AMX-13. Once again, a great job of finishing those out. Another kill going to the T69, his T69 mate.
Yep.
as well. So brilliantly done.
Yeah, only 2 tanks remaining now on the Yorda. Only 1
Make
tank
that
remaining
one,
now.
and make
this is
that
the
none.
last tank, and this will be game 2 going to the Silly Ducks.